Hi, welcome to 5 Minutes of Torah with the BI Rabbi. I'm Rabbi Stein. I want to wish you a Chag Sameach for Pesach this year. Hope you're all having a great time getting ready. So Pesach starts on a Friday night this year, just like last year, I think. And so the second night of Pesach will be on a Saturday night. But we're not going to go from Shabbat into the regular week on a Saturday night into Sunday. We're going from Shabbat into the second day of YUNTIF. So Havdalah is going to be a little bit different. I want to talk about that for a moment, how it's different from a regular Saturday night Havdalah. Now, by the way, if you watch these videos religiously, and I know many of you do, you remember that I spoke about this conundrum last year, I think in the very first animated video I made. But I love this topic, and this year I want to focus a little bit more on getting some meaning out of this interesting Havdalah. So first of all, what do we do? It's Havdalah, but as I said, it's a little bit different. It's going into YUNTIF, in this case, the second day of YUNTIF, or Chag, a festival. So first of all, there are no spices. That's only when we're going from Shabbat into a regular non-holiday day, because we need the sweetness of Shabbat to stick with us in the regular week. We're going to a holiday. Now, the other big change is what's usually the fourth blessing of Havdalah, the one about differentiations that we or God make, like between the 6 working days and the 7th day, which is Shabbat, and the other differentiations that are listed there. Well, let's take a look at this one. This is the regular one, Hamavdu ben Kodesh L'chol, between the holy and the non-holy, and between light and dark, and between Israel and other peoples of the world, and between the 7th day and the 6 days of the week. Well, that's going to be a little bit different because we're not going into the regular profane secular work week. So here's a slightly different one for when you're going from Saturday night. There's a lot of words there. Going from Saturday night into YUNTIF or continuing a YUNTIF. Here I'll just show you the added words compared to a regular Havdalah. Just those. Bein Kedushat Shabbat Likdushat Yom Tov Hivdalta, and Hivdalta V'Kidashta Ad Amcha Yisrael B'Kedushatecha. And the final blessing doesn't say Baruch Atah Adonai Hamavdo Ben Kodesh L'chol. It says Baruch Atah Adonai Hamavdo Ben Kodesh L'Kodesh. That's very interesting. Okay, here's the English. You differentiate between the holiness of Shabbat and the holiness of YUNTIF. You have differentiated and sanctified your people Israel in your holiness. And then instead of blessed are you Adonai, who differentiates between the sacred and the profane, or between the holy and the not holy, blessed are you Adonai, who differentiates between the holy and the holy, the holiness of Shabbat and the holiness of a holiday. Okay, so what do we need for Havdalah besides that changed blessing? We still need a Havdalah candle. Actually, for this Havdalah, really, we use the regular Shabbat candles. You just say the blessing over the candles, and then you use these candles for Havdalah. But we do want to hold them together, which is hard. So there's actually a special Havdalah candle for this type of Havdalah on a Saturday night going into YUNTIF with 2 wicks together. It's very, very funny. That one's from Amazon. Then you need a Kiddush cup, of course. We need to say Shachianu. There it is, a little smaller. And we need that Havdalah paragraph that we were just talking about. Now, what's the order? Here's the real conundrum. What's the order we're going to say these things in? Now, Talmud, the Babylonian Talmud in Tractate Pesachim, chapter 10, has a great big discussion about this. It's really, really fascinating. We have a bunch of things we need to do. We need to say Borei Me'orei Ha'esh over the candle, just like on Havdalah on a regular Saturday. We need to say that Havdalah blessing we just talked about. We need to say Shachianu, represented by the word Zman, for time. We need to say Kiddush over Pesach, for the Seder, beginning of the Seder. And we need to say Borei Pri Hagafen. Okay, so what's the order we're going to say all these things in? Now, by the way, this would be the same. This happens sometimes on Shavuot, sometimes beginning of Sukkot, and it can happen at the end of Sukkot or Pesach as well. So here are all these things that we need to put in the right order. So the Talmud is going to give us the order according to a bunch of different rabbis. I'm going to go through these quickly. Our videos are called 5 Minutes of Torah, after all. I'm going to try to get in not too much after 5 minutes. So Abaye, famous rabbi, he says wine, Borei Pri Hagafen, then Kiddush, then Shachianu, then Borei Me'orei Ha'esh, then Havdalah, Yaknehaz. We try to pronounce these acronyms because it's fun. Rava says Yaknehaz. Okay, similar. Rav says Yakna. Suddenly he dropped Shachianu for some reason. Shmuel says Yanhak. So he's putting Kiddush at the end. Rava also puts Kiddush at the end. That's interesting. Levi puts Kiddush at the beginning. Rabbanan, the rabbis in general, also put Kiddush at the beginning, but they switch around the middle too. Mar, son of Ravina. So now we have Kiddush after the candle. Now Kiddush is at the end again. Marta in the name of Rebi Yehoshua. Rebi Yishmael, son of Rebi José, or Yossi, in the name of his father, says Nahik, the candle, then Havdalah, then wine, and then Kiddush. So this is interesting. Now Rebi Yehoshua ben Hananiah, he comes along, and he gives a parable to explain Rebi Yehoshua ben Hananiah. Okay, remember he said Havdalah and then Kiddush. He says it's sort of like a king who's exiting a city and a governor is entering. So etiquette dictates that the inhabitants of the city, they have to escort the king out. The king is Shabbat in this parable from the city so he can leave in a dignified fashion. And then they go and greet the governor. The governor is the holiday of a lesser status. Okay, so here's the nimshal, the sort of what we're making the parable towards. First you recite Havdalah to take leave of Shabbat in a very nice way, and then you recite Kiddush to bring in the festival. Because the festival, even though YUNTIF and PESACH, Shavuot, Sukkot are really big, Shabbat actually is more important than those, even though it comes every week. So who wins out of all of these? It is Rava. He's the second one I showed you. Wine, Brei Pregafen, Kiddush, Brei Morei Ha'esh for the candle, Havdalah, the special paragraph, then Shachianu. Yaknehaz. Rava. You just got to remember the word Yaknehaz. Now, here's the craziest thing, and I want to do this quickly with you. Yaknehaz sounds like this word in Old German, Jagdenhaz. Okay, that means hunt the hare, like a rabbit. So here's what started happening. In older medieval Haggadot in the 1500s, you started getting a picture like this, or like this. You open up your Haggadah, you see a picture of a guy hunting rabbits with his dogs, and you think, oh, Jagdenhaz, hunt the hare. Then you think Jagdenhaz sounds like Yaknehaz. Oh, now I remember how to do Havdalah at the beginning of the seder because I know the order from this acronym. That is crazy. Anyway, just want to tell you a little bit about our Pesach services coming up. It's Thursday afternoon. I hope you can see this Thursday evening. If you do, we have services tomorrow morning at 9:30 because it's Good Friday, statutory holiday. There's a siyum at the end. Rabbi Infeld and Jay Eidelman and I will be finishing a tractate of Mishnah, and the excitement from that means that the firstborn can eat instead of fast. Our evening services throughout the year, except Yom Kippur, are always at 6 p.m., so that includes Friday and Saturday night this week and next week. Saturday and Sunday are 9:30 a.m. like usual, this time for YUNTIF. Usually it's 9:30 a.m. anyway for Shabbat and Sundays. But on the end of Pesach, Friday and Saturday, also 9:30. Okay, so that's a little strange that Friday is going to be 9:30 2 weeks in a row. And then the middle days, Chol HaMoed Pesach, the intermediate days, really exciting services at 8 a.m. with halal and all sorts of fun stuff. So please come, and Chag Sameach, good Yontif, have a great Pesach and great Seders.